This session is a session on the IT organizational design and supporting fundamentally the manufacturing and engineering infrastructure. This is a workshop. This is not a lecture. We will be arranging into 3 clusters, and we'll have facilitators of the clusters. So those in the back will be moving forward here shortly. The whole idea is to interact and share our experiences facilitated by a set of key questions. I will set the tone with a short presentation on the topic to try to warm us up, and then the facilitators and myself will help you go through interactive questions. We're going to use sticky pads and flip charts here to collect input. We really want your input on this particular topic, because the input will come back to you in a format that helps you and your organizations assess where you are organizationally relative to your needs, and then chart a path forward, hopefully to optimize and tune your organizations for this particular stakeholder group. My name is Mike Williams. I'm part of ARC Associates. I'm an independent contractor who does work through ARC on special client projects. And I volunteered to help facilitate this particular session because of prior experiences. I previously worked for the Dow Chemical Company for 39 years, all over the world, many different facilities in many different roles, and I've seen many organizational changes over that near 40-year period of time. So I'll help guide you through some of the experiences and help draw out what you have seen, and so that we can collectively share in that knowledge. Okay? So, some of the rules are fundamentally, will the facilitators please stand up right now so they know who you are? We've got Carrie Scheller here from Dow Chemical, Jake Warren from Bascom, Peter Reynolds is also here from ARC, and we've got Steve Batar from Exxon. So we're going to have 3 cluster tables. That one's a cluster over there. This is a cluster here. I think, Steve, are you going to cluster over in this area here? So what I would like you to do right now is actually move to a cluster area. We're going to get roughly anywhere from 10 to 15 people around the cluster, move forward into these 3 areas here. Do not go to a cluster where your companion company facilitator is facilitating that table. So this is a workshop, not a lecture. Expected to work, guys and ladies. You're lucky, Sandy, we didn't get you to do this. Again, you need to, those coming in late, please join one of the cluster tables up here. This is a workshop, so we're going to work together collaboratively. Eric, you're neutral. You can pick any table. Okay. We look like we're close here. That's good. Nice, close, interactive. The numbers are about right. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to kick this off, and we'll start getting going here. So, questions to be asked. If you are in this session, obviously this was part of the syllabus of the session. So to refresh your memory of the syllabus, what is the best in class for organizing in this space? Manufacturing, IT, meaning IT anywhere from the shop floor up through and then connecting to the enterprise systems. How do small and medium-sized companies organize to be competitive relative to larger organizations who have more resources and people to tackle this task? How can organizational design make a company more agile? Maybe you don't feel you're organized as effectively today, and can you improve your agility by tuning that organizational design? How does risk management and governance play in assigning roles, and who decides how you're organized, and who has the delegation of authority in that organizational structure? Last but not least, what can we learn from other industries, maybe outside of the classical industries represented here today, and leverage in some of their best practices? Now for the politically incorrect slide. This is supposed, I apologize in advance for anyone who's offended by the slide. I found it on the internet and I found it hilarious. So it just tells you something about me, I guess. Okay, and organizational design. Fundamentally a classical pyramid organization with all kinds of interrelationships, some formal, some not so formal. And don't take a picture of it. Well, there's the internet. If you want to find it, it's on the internet. This is not my slide. So, but I thought it was quite hilarious, and it brings in some of the correct and politically incorrect relationships. My point here is organizational design needs to work for what you're trying to accomplish here, and the relationships make a big difference in this. So we'll skip on very quickly. Oh, one thing back here. The manager at the top is very happy. The minions down here don't look so happy. So I don't think the organizational design is what they're looking for. Okay, best in class, what does that mean? Best in class organizational design. Best in class is measured as the most, and I've researched this. This is part of what ARC does, it does research. So according to the gurus out there, the textbooks, best in class is measured as the most cost-effective and efficient. Notice the two words together. Cost-effective and efficient have two different meanings. Cost-effective and effective means of providing the appropriate service level for the client that you're servicing. And we're defining the client today is the manufacturing IT environment. Okay, that's the service environment. The services provided encompass the entire life cycle of the solution you're providing. So this is not just the beginning, it's not just the end, it is the entire life cycle of that solution that the client is expecting from this organization. Services can be provided both internal from the company or external from external providers based on availability of skills and unique core competencies that the owner-operator company chooses to retain internally versus externally. So it is a hybrid organization in providing the services. And last but not least, the best-in-class organization keeps the end user, the consumer of that service, their interest in best in mind and satisfied. So again, just definitions again. So the context of the discussion we're talking about here. I use the Purdue model as the reference of what the service organization is tackling. Manufacturing IT is, as I'm defining it here, supports levels 1, 2, and 3, the Purdue reference model. It is not ERP. It's the best way to describe it. That's the organization supporting levels 1, 2, and 3. It is in the real-time or near real-time application services domain, so service level agreements need to relate to that timeliness of that type of service. And IT solution selection. Okay, so it's involved in not only the selection of the solutions, but it's involved in the implementation of the solutions and the sustain and support of those solutions when we're talking about the total life cycle. When I speak of corporate IT, just to refresh now, I'm really saying that is the ERP supporting organization, which typically involves finance, regulatory, human resources, supply chain, those type of corporate services. And for today's discussion, that is out of scope. The corporate IT is out of scope. So we're talking about organizational design around levels 1, 2, and 3 of the Purdue model, servicing that client base within your company. So, to get you started, again, textbook definitions, you can read this or research it on your own, or you can call ARC and we'll do some research for you. But the bottom line is that typical organizational designs are driven by 5 different formats, okay? A format could be a functional format. You're organized around a function. You could be organized around a geography. You could be organized around a product or a program itself delivering some distinct deliverable to a client. It could be organized around the market that you're servicing. And last but not least, it could be a hybrid of 2 or more of the above. So those are the classical organizational structures, and how you organize depends on how your company or the clients that you're servicing do business. So functional organizations are typically driven by technology. You're organized functionally around the technology you deliver. Geographical are obviously driven by regional location, servicing the clients from a regional perspective. Product-driven is programs or R&D environment, typically where you're delivering and researching and delivering a final product. You can organize around that. Customer-driven, obviously, you organize to be very intimate with the customer. And last but not least, I mentioned matrix is 2 or more of the above. So that gives you the context of organizational design and what might be possible for you. Each one of your companies today or service providers today is utilizing one of the 5 techniques for organizing to deliver the service value. Challenges, and I'll throw this out to you just to motivate the discussion here. Challenges in each of them. Functionally, you've heard, if you're functionally driven, you become potentially functionally siloed. Geography, one of the problems with geographical organization is you replicate redundant work processes, redundant capabilities in multiple locations, and therefore it costs you money to service in a purely geographical organizational structure. Product-driven, when the program's done, the organization dissolves. So there's a lack of continuity in that particular type of structure. Customer-driven, you could be very good at focusing on an individual customer, but now how do you as an organization leverage that from customer to customer if you're solely organized by customers? And last but not matrix, if you're doing 2 or more of the above, it becomes very complex to manage with dual lines of reporting, like the funny picture I showed up there, and more importantly, multiple decision-making challenges. So matrix is the toughest, but matrix maybe provides what you need is a combination of all the above. So the challenge is, what do you need organizationally? What are the different models that support your particular client's need or customer's needs? And where are you today? How do you forge a path going forward? So that sets the stage. Sets the stage for potential organizational redesign. So I assume you're attending today because you may or may not be satisfied, or you're curious about what maybe the guy next to you is doing organizationally to be effective from an organizational. Effective and efficient. Those are the key words, effective and efficient. The first thing that people do wrong in organizational design is they get out their graphing tool and they just start putting names in boxes. That is the worst thing you can possibly do in organizational redesign. Names and boxes. Get that. Everybody has a PowerPoint type tool to create an org chart. Typically vertical in structure, hierarchical in structure. That is the absolute worst thing to do. So one thing, if you get nothing out of today's session, is don't do that. Don't even go down. You're wasting your time. Now, one of the things that has been learned by a number of institutions is that organizational design follows an evolution or maturity. And depending on how your company or the client you're serving evolves over time versus various demographics or criteria of change, the maturity of the organization change and needs to adapt to be effective and functional. So what you need to do is chart a forward path given the constraints of your organization and the maturity level at where you are today and where you want to go in the future, and structure or restructure the organization appropriately. So, what are we going to do today? We're not going to draw boxes. I'm not going to show you the best organizational design. There is no such thing. There's no one size fits all. So, let's collaborate here today and understand the critical attributes for success and other factors that I've mentioned up here that fundamentally define an effective and efficient organization. Based on your experiences, let's collect those attributes and let's start building what would be the attributes of a maturity model that you can use after you leave the session. You'll be provided through ARC a grid, essentially, a maturity grid that allows you to take these attributes, see where you are and where you would like to go in the future and what you need to do for change, based on essentially a benchmark of cross-fertilized ideas from various participants here today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at these critical attributes that make organizations efficient and effective. So we've already gotten into the round table format. We're ready to go here. We need to put your brainstorming hats on. The facilitators will help guide the questions. I will put them up and try to keep us on time so we're efficient from a data input standpoint. No idea is a bad idea. Redundant ideas, there's always something different somebody can add. So don't say, if you think somebody in front of you has come up with a statement that looks like the same as yours, it's not the same as yours. We will affinitize those things where there are common threads or common themes together, but everybody's input is very important. So for every question, I expect a card, at least one card from every participant here. And there are 4 questions. So we need 4 per person. And the facilitators will demand that you get those. Okay. So that's how we're going to do this brainstorming session today. You got pens on the table. You've got some. Make sure you've got some sticky pads there. We've got more in the center. Peter, facilitators can get you more. But so we're working in parallel right now. The key number 1 question is, and it's split into 2 sub questions here. What is the purpose or mission of the automation IT organization servicing this client base? And what is the competitive advantage achieved through this organization? Why do you exist? So what is the mission and why do you exist? What is important? Or if you're looking for service providers, what do you think their mission should be in supporting manufacturing IT? And what is the important attribute of competitiveness? What are you looking for? So we've got, think about it. We've got roughly 10 minutes to start writing. As soon as you have things. Okay, anybody in the back, pick a table. If you don't go to a table if the facilitator is working for your company. So Dan, you can't go over there. Pick a table so you can participate. Kehan, you participate too. So what is the purpose or mission of the organization that is servicing this base? Yep. Only write on the stickies. The facilitators will take the inputs and try to aggregate them or affinitize them, and we'll discuss fundamentally what those findings are. Well, the brainstorming is going to happen when we put the cards up. Essentially, it helps facilitate the dialogue. This is individual at this point in time. We need individual input, and then we'll get collective brainstorming from that input. It's got two pieces to question number 1. This is all question 1. Those 2 pieces are question 1. They go hand in glove. If it's a competitive reason for the organization to exist, it's fundamentally key to the mission. You must provide one. You can provide multiple inputs if you like. So I want you to think right now, because it'll facilitate the dialogue later. Too many people won't participate. I want everybody to participate. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, as we're finishing up doing a grouping or affinitization, we're just going table to table until we exhaust the different threads. So let's start with Steve's area right here. You're still doing a few. Pick one of those that you've got red on, and let's explain what you see the thread is, and then people in this table here elaborate on that particular thread. So pick one, Steve. You got it? Okay, is there a microphone right here?
Sorry, you want to do this?
Yeah, do it on the mic. I want everybody to hear this, and then so we can pick different categories. So the one category that you see a common thread, the question area here is, what's the main purpose, and what are the advantages you see for that particular mission?
Yep.
So
okay, good. Well, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. So in the 13 seconds, I had to scan these 400 words. Here are the things I picked up. So there were some common threads here. You can see about question number 1, which is really talking about purpose or mission. Almost the same thing. Number 1 was what you'd expect, reliability and availability, right? We would all expect that to land up near number 1. There was some interesting stuff in there, and the words remove complexity weren't there, but I was kind of reading that into some very good comments about how to make the tools transparent and simple enough for everyone to know without becoming the expert. And I thought that was quite clever. And then, of course, supporting operations. I mean, the reason for being. But that was just question number 1. And number 2, as far as I got, was common tools and processes, right? No surprise, right? The advantages of commonality and not having multiple tools that everyone has to be trained on and understand. Minimizing cost, especially for the commodity producers here. That's paramount, number 1. And then best in class, making sure that you do a little bit of research and you make sure that whatever it is that you buy is best in class for your service. And speed, I thought that was a good one too. So
are there any other attributes? Steve is in a very short time trying to affinitize the key attributes here. Anything that really strikes you as something you want to re-emphasize or continue? Seamless. Explain seamless. Okay, so in some less effective organizations, the assumption is there is lack of continuity or continuation, seamlessness between the automation organizational layer and the IT organizational layer. Okay, so an effective mission-critical organization would have seamless organizational structure, regardless of where the resources are deployed. Okay? Any other attributes that people would like to emphasize here? If not, let's go on to the next one. Jake?
Yes. Is it my turn already? Okay.
You're up. You're on the clock. And the pick is?
I haven't finished going through these things yet. But,
right.
Some of the things that appear to be jumping out early are, in terms of the mission, the service and support, collaboration, providing expertise and effective solutions, consistency across the business, and also analysis, reporting, and functional. Adding functional analysis to the data that's pulled out of the system. So
let me stop you right there. One of the key things I see an add to this particular group is expertise and solutions, looking for knowledge and proven knowledge that's effective to be implemented into the customer's facilities. So a key add is expertise and solutions. What are you doing over there, Dan? What do you got?
We broke it into competitive advantage and mission.
Okay.
He really had the mission.
Right. So is there categories over here that see themes?
One
Give him the mic right here.
A couple of times, innovation.
Grab the mic.
Well, do you really need the mic? I can project, but one of them was innovation. I mean, there was a couple of people mentioned competitive advantage to having domain experts from kind of those process automation and IT drives innovation, right, as a competitive advantage. There's a bunch on sort of the most effective use of resources and technologies, right? So we'd have to drive down what competitive advantage that gives, right? So for sure, but there's a
So
whole
I'll
group.
summarize with a word, leveraging.
Yeah, leverage, right.
Okay,
yeah,
so technological leveraging. So you've come up with key attribute is expertise that can provide solutions, and you'd like to be able to leverage those solutions. An effective organization would be able to leverage those.
The
technology.
competitive advantage, though, I mean, they come up on quite a few of these, is the unique skills, right? Leveraging the unique skill at the right spot, right? So that you're getting a competitive advantage by having the skill you need to drive that, whatever the solution you're trying to deliver is.
Write that down as a bullet point there. That's a good one. Let's go on to Carrie's over here. So, some
Okay.
collective input.
Yeah,
let's
some common
build on
themes
Let's
that
build
we've
on that.
had. One of the first categories we said is our organization has to meet business requirements. And so some of the theme words we got out of that, this is more than a word, but it was a great answer here. Implement and sustain applications that provide a competitive advantage as measured by return on capital, employers, and earnings and throughput. So this was really, how do we meet those business requirements? We want to be able to have agility. We want to make sure we're partnering with the businesses and drive innovation.
So let me summarize that one. A key add here is partnering with the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
An effective organization delivering on its mission engages the business partners and delivers on their requirements. Okay?
Okay. Common theme, we want to make sure we're cost effective and provide a competitive advantage. And some of the words here we heard, we want to be able to reduce cost, optimize cost while optimizing production, and make sure this organization is driving continuous improvement opportunities. So CIP here.
I see another area over here on the right is the keyword availability.
Oh,
So-
that's this section over here. Yeah, we'll get over there.
Okay.
Real quick, this one, I don't know that this came up earlier, but standards, that we should be driving standards. And the text here was create a structure and standardization out of a decentralized business.
It kind of goes along with the one Dan was saying here about delivering leverageable technology driven through standards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then, yeah, this last category was, things started just going in here as run the business, but that we're doing production support. It's key that we've got high availability along with safety. And so some of the keywords we heard here was, again, ensuring system availability, being able to optimize production, and keep our real-time systems running.
Great. Okay. We got a great start here. I'm not sure we're going to get through all the questions, but we're going to power as fast as we can. So we're